Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Anessa. Welcome to my office. I am an indie author and I publish under the pen name A.N. Sage. On this channel, I share some tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way after having published 15 books so far. Just advice I have, different tools that I use that I think that you might find useful, planning, plotting, things like that. And we have some behind the scenes and some vlog type content, which is exactly what today's video is. I wanted to do a vlog today because I'm actually about to start plotting my next book. As you might know, if you have followed me for a while or have been around for the last month or so, I am about to go on maternity leave. And so I'm starting to get ahead of things. And plotting the next book is one of those things because I figured I might have a bit of time, probably not a lot of time, but a bit of time when I'm taking this break from my work as a cover designer. So I'm not taking any clients. So I'm taking a break from my work as a book cover designer to kind of concentrate on staying at home and being with the new baby and being with the family and stuff. And so we made that decision for me to take a few months off, but I figured I might have some time there to write a draft. Maybe not the whole draft, but I might have time to start a draft. And so I thought I was going back and forth of what I want to be working on. And originally my plan was to plot a completely new standalone. So if you have been around for that last release party that we had, that was for a standalone that I have written, The Things the River Hides. That came out and that was really great. And so I wanted to do a different standalone, a slightly darker YA fantasy, contemporary fantasy still. It is going to be a retelling again of sorts, sort of vague retelling. But it's going to be dark, and it's going to be bordering on horror. So, calm titles would be like House of Hollow and things like that. So I did want to work on that next. That was the plan. But I thought if I'm going to be working on this, throughout small breaks here and there with a newborn, do I really want to delve into this giant project that will probably take me a year to complete? It's a new world. There's going to be a lot more in-depth analysis, a lot more research. I might have to travel places. So it might not be feasible for right now to do that. And so my other option was to write book 8 in my Shadowhurst world, which I'll put somewhere here, the first book of the series, if you want to grab that or check it out. But I don't know. I kind of wanted more of a break, I think, from that world because it's 7 books plus a novella. I've been in it for so long that I did want a break. However, I already know that world. I kind of already know what I want to happen. I mean, there's still some stuff I need to figure out, but it would be easier to get through that draft. Not that it would be easy, but it would be easier than starting this whole project that will take a very long time to do. And so I was thinking, going back and forth, and just last night I made the decision that, you know what, I think I'm going to do book 8 of Shadowhurst. It's the last book, so it's still going to be a big project, but that way I can finish it off this year, have it be done for the people who are waiting for the 8th book, and just put that out there, and then take my time with this next release, and just figuring out drafting that other project. So instead of having all these projects in the air, I think I'm going to go ahead and start plotting the 8th book. So that's what we're doing today. We are going to start. We're not going to plot the whole thing, obviously. I can't do that in one sitting, of course. Usually when I plot, it takes me anywhere between a couple of weeks to a month to plot a book. I think because this is the final book in the Shadowhurst world, in this big world, I think it might take closer to a month to plot, which will take me pretty much right into when I'm on that leave officially. So that's a good one to have. But today we're going to do some of the starter plots. So if you're wondering how it is that I start plotting from scratch, because I have talked about some of my steps. I have a plotting resource notebook, worksheet that's available that I use, but I haven't talked about how I prep and how I do that prelim work before I get into like scene plotting and character arc plotting and everything like that. So I figured let's do that today, and we're going to do it together. So let's go ahead and get started on that now. So the first thing that I will always do, just like one of the first few things, is I'm going to be looking at what I have so far. And that could be rereading the last book, which I don't think I need to right now because I kind of remember pretty much all of it. Or it could be going through the outline of the last book. So I always have my outlines handy. So going through that and rereading through it and kind of highlighting what I need to know, so I know where I left off. And let me just set you down actually right here, so you can kind of get a better view of the office as I work on this. But essentially what I'll do is I will print off my outline from the last book. I do use Scrivener to write, so everything usually is an easier go. So I can go ahead and print off the outline of that, and I'll go through and I'll reread it. So that'll be the first thing that I do every single time. Either reread the last book or reread the outline. And I do this also before I start drafting, as I'll reread a chapter from every character's point of view, because this book has 4 POVs. So I'll reread a chapter to kind of get into the mind space of that chapter as I'm writing it. But we're not there yet. Right now, we are getting ready for plotting. So first things first, let's pull up that outline and let's go ahead and print that baby off. Okay, so I got through the outline. I went back and reread like a couple more sections in the last book, just to kind of make sure like I had it all and just everything was figured out, because some stuff I did change in the outline as I was drafting. So I have that already. Now I think I'm going to make like a little snack. Feeling peckish. So I'm gonna make a little snack, and then I'm gonna make a coffee, well, a decaf coffee, because I don't drink coffee right now on account of the baby. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and kind of head downstairs for like a change of location. And I'm going to actually bring my plotting notebook, my bullet journal with me, and some tools with me as well. And we are going to do some brainstorming and some initial plotting there. And I'll talk to you more about kind of how I handle it when we get down there after the snack. So I just made it down to the living room, and I just wanted to show you what I brought with me to work down here. So you don't need much, or I don't need much when I'm plotting. So I, of course, brought my plotting bullet journal that I will link a video somewhere here where I did a setup of it so you can see me walking you through it. I brought the last book. Crystal of Doom is book 7 and the last book in the series. I brought that outline that I went through from the last book that you saw me go through. I grabbed my little pencil case here and I kind of like drag this around with me wherever I go, and it has like all my color coding in case I need it. I don't think I'll need it yet. I'm just going to be doing just the prelim work, but it's got like a bunch of stuff I might need if I require it. And I also got some post-it notes. I wish these were just like the blank, like those pale yellow ones, but I ran out of these because pink is Billy's POV. So I kind of just wanted just generalized ones, but that's okay. We'll have what we have. And of course, I got my decaf, and which please is the mug I'm using. And I thought that was really perfect because this is a witchy series. So I got my decaf coffee and I am kind of ready to go. So I'm going to head on over and make myself super comfortable and surround myself with all this stuff. And then I'm going to chat to you really quick whilst I'm there because it takes me a very long time now. Now that I'm almost ready to have this baby to move around. So I won't make you go through watching me do all that. But I'm going to get settled on the couch and then we can chat really quickly there about what my next kind of steps are while I'm down here. So I made it over to the couch. I have all of my little things that I need, and I'm all set up and ready to go. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually going to be going through and brainstorming everything I think should happen in this book based on kind of what I've read in the outline and where the other story left off. So it's not a super detailed plotting section. It's literally just like some points that I'll come up with. And as I start brainstorming, more will come up. So I'll just take notes. I'll make like a questions list of things that still need to be answered because having such a long run series, there's always going to be unanswered questions that have come up throughout. And this is kind of like the final book. So that's the book that reveals all of these answers. So there's already like a couple that I know I'm going to need to answer in this book, and definitely like a few more that will come up as I start kind of brainstorming and figuring things out. So that's the next step here. And I'm just going to be doing this in my bullet journal and my plotting journal before I start like all the plotting notes and all of that stuff. I'm going to have like a brain dump section that I'm going to set up in there, and I'm just going to literally just like sit down, have that decaf coffee, relax, not put too much pressure on myself, and just kind of try to think about like what I think would be fun and cool and like exciting to put in this final book of the series without delving too much into plot because again, nothing's set in stone at this point. I'm just kind of getting like the preliminary of it. And this is why it usually takes me a very long time to plot a book, because I go through these extra steps always. And so from here, there's going to be other steps I take. Then I start plotting the scenes. Then I start doing all the character work, research. If it's a new book, like I said, I might have to travel places to do that research. So it takes time to plot that. But this part is really fun because it's just like you're telling yourself a story, and the story doesn't necessarily have to make sense. It's just something that you are doing in the beginning. It's like the fun part of plotting. So let's get ready and let's do that fun part right now. I got through quite a bit there. I actually like wrote so much that one of my pens ran out, which is great. It's a great problem to have. I was able to figure out some holes that I wasn't sure where I was going to go, and I actually figured out like one of the big kind of surprise twists that it's going to happen. So that's really exciting. So I have just one more step to do. I did make some post-its based on what I've rough plotted so far. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually just going to get them up on a wall so that they're ready. And you'll see what I mean by having the pink ones, because once I actually start plotting, I do the rough like scene plot on the wall, and they're usually color coded. So it's going to be weird. I'm going to have to probably redo this, but there's not so many of them. But just for now, I kind of want to see it on the wall to see kind of what the breakdown is and what I have going so far. So let's do that real quick. Pretty much all that I can do today, that I'm going to do today. I've got a lot done that I wanted to get done. Like I said, this isn't like set in stone. It's not anything like that I'm going to start writing tomorrow. It'll be weeks and weeks before I can start writing. I still need to flesh out pretty much the whole story. But this is rough plotting, as I kind of call it, for myself. All I'm doing right now, going forward from this step, is just kind of continuing to brainstorm more as it comes up. I'm going to give myself a couple of days to sit with what I have come up so far, and see what else I can spark in those couple of days. And then from there, I'm going to flesh it out a bit more so that I have more and more scenes going. Then I'm going to put that aside and work on the character development for the four main characters in this final book, and for the main antagonist in this book. And then from there, I will do some more tweaking and setting up my Scrivener and everything. And only then will we be able to start writing. So I'm pretty excited. I'm liking the arc of the story so far. I'm liking where it's going. I'm liking the main kind of concept behind it, what's going to drive the story forward. I'm really liking that. That big twist I mentioned, super excited to write that. I just need to make sure I have a couple more twists in there, because this is the final book. So we do want to make sure to confuse people a little bit, because this is like all the other books in Shadowhurst Mysteries. I mean, I'm sure the name gives it away, but there is mystery. And so to have mystery, you must have misdirection. So I'm going to need to figure out like a couple of more of those small misdirections before this big one hits the reader. But otherwise, I'm super happy with where it is. So if you're wondering what rough plotting looks like for me, or where I start when I begin to plot in general in any book, this is it. Today was it. It was pretty productive. I'm very pleased. I hope you enjoyed watching these behind the scenes. If I'm a little bit slow on answering comments or anything like that, it is because probably you're watching this when I have already had the baby, or about to, or we're getting super ready or something like that. So I am recording this in February, but you'll probably be watching this more in March. If not April. So, but maybe not April, but probably March. So yeah, if you have any questions or any videos you want me to do for the future, then make sure you comment below. And as always, thank you so much for subscribing, for sticking around, for being part of this community. I love you guys so much, and it means so much to me to be able to chat with you and make these videos and help people out every single time. So hopefully this was helpful for you. And as always, stay magical, and I will see you next week. Bye.